My favorite part of the story of Esther, it's probably to me the most unique part of the book of Esther, is that God is not mentioned one time in the entire book. Out of 66 books that comprise the scriptures, comprise the Bible, you would have 2 books that don't mention God's name. The Song of Solomon, which is a poetic book, a love book. It's filled with metaphors and analogies. And when you read this book of the Song of Solomon, it's impossible to not see the nature and the character of God expressed in that book. But Esther is a historic book. And so to not have any mention of God is incredibly unique, so unique that scholars have argued that it should have never made it into what they call the canon of Scripture. And many people would say the reason why is because where's God at in it? Some might even think he was absent. But when I look at the book of Esther, I love the book for that very reason. Because God does not need to be acknowledged to be present. You don't have to acknowledge him, and he's present. I'm guilty of that in my own life, that I can look back through things I've been through, and I didn't have the strength to acknowledge him, or maybe I was thinking, this is so crazy, this is so over the top, this is so brutal. Where are you at? What are you doing? What's happened? And it's really difficult to acknowledge him when you go through some of the greatest struggles of life. It's just difficult. Maybe not for some of you, but for me. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know where he's at. He seems absent and he seems silent. But Christmas is the announcement that we have to be reminded of, that he is Emmanuel. That's the announcement of Christmas, that he is Emmanuel. He's not a God that's far off. He's not a God that's distant. He drew near to tell us he is Emmanuel. He is the God that is with us. He's present. He's present when you acknowledge it, and he's present when you refuse to. He is with us. In the Old Testament, there was another name that's mentioned called Ichabod. And really, it's the lie that God has departed, or God's left, or God's no longer with you. And you can choose to believe that Ichabod spirit, that God's not with you, he's not for you because of something you've done, someplace you've been. You just, in your mind, there's just no way that God could be with you. Or you can choose to believe the truth that Christmas announces, and that is he is Emmanuel, he is present.